this is going to be a fun video that will not be controversial at all, no! So thank you and wokeness on the Twitter for this gem. Take a look at this. On the one hand, we have John Wick, or Neo, or otherwise known as Mr. Keanu Reeves, much beloved actor. And on the other hand, we have an engorged avatar of excess with more makeup than a freaking airline stewardess. Now, look carefully at the two pictures and the paragraphs. Yeah? What do you guys see? Tell me in the comment section before you continue the video, because the immediate thing that tends to jump out at one is the double standard. Now, I don't really think there is one, because a double standard implies there's two of them. The one on the left has a standard, the other one has fuck all. That's not a double standard, that's a lack of a standard. But it does remind me of an interesting quote by Ledin. People are rarely diabolic or bent enthusiastically on evil. As a rule, they're only weak. They cannot resist temptation and thus give way to their evil drives. And in this case, the temptation is the lack of any accountability, both in terms of caloric gluttony and also just being an asshole, which is why she's being sued by 3 former dancers for an array of alleged incidents involving the singer, including sexually denigrating behavior, extreme working conditions, and fat shaming. Which is hilarious coming from that one. It's like fucking Jabba the Hutt telling you to hit up a salad bar. Not the only instance, by the way, a few others have also since come forward, as well as a filmmaker who worked with her for only 2 weeks before quitting, a one Sophia Gnarly Allison, claiming working with her left her gaslit and hurt, saying she was treated with such disrespect by her, going on to say, "I witnessed how arrogant, self-centered, and unkind she is, behavior that is surprising to no one, by the way. I was not prepared and was thrown into a shitty situation with little support. My spirit said to run as fast as you fucking can, and I am so grateful I trusted my gut. Reading these reports made me realize how dangerous of a situation it was. This kind of abuse of power happens far too often. Like I told you, no accountability leads to said abuse of power, resulting in her being an asshole, and thus my point and the quote correct." Why the name Lizzo, by the way? There's already a running gag the elites are all lizard people, and then with that size pick a stage name that ends with O that makes anyone with sense think of hippo. That's just bad branding. But look at the 2 paragraphs at the top there. Meanies calling him flabby and weak. Thankfully, his loyal fans had his back and flooded the internet with love, praising the special person he is. Aw, that's nice. You know, from what I've seen of Keanu, he actually takes his acting very seriously. Great skill set. And despite this, he's not some woke Hollywood tard. He's actually a regular dude. God bless him. On the other hand, we have a piece of regime propaganda in every facet. Now, recall some weeks back, I did a video on Emma Vageland, the ditzy bin from Majority Report, who got her ass handed to her by Sean and Tim Pool on his show. And in that video, or it could have been a different one actually, I'm not sure now, I said that she's not actually a real person, and yes, I'm very aware that it's dehumanizing and degrading, but once again, I failed to give her right bollock. Now, the reason for that is because she doesn't have any actual opinions of her own. She's a mindless mouthpiece of metal, one that gets pulled by a magnet called power. She has no capacity for dissent. She's this pleb who follows power, lockstep in line with everything that would grant more power to the state and nothing more. There's a reason why I said if you placed her in the Third Reich, she would be the staunchest of Nazi supporters. Her dream job would be to be in the SS. Now, Lizzo exists in the same kind of ecosphere. Originally, I wanted to say she's much like the swastika, but then I thought, yeah, that's maybe a bit much. But in the sense that the reason she's propped up is her weight and skin color, and everybody knows this. She's an avatar of the regime and can only exist within the current zeitgeist. In much the same way Emma would never have the political perspective she has now outside of this regime. The same way Lizzo would never have support outside of this regime either. No one sane would defend her appearance or code of conduct in a million years. Her support and image is entirely fictional. The filmmaker Allison said that she's a narcissistic bully and has built her brand off of lies. Her image and message is a curated facade, as if anyone who isn't an idiot couldn't spot this a fucking mile off. And here's the thing, if her support is fictional, propped up by the regime, it means it's fickle and can also be culled by the regime. Keanu Reeves' support, on the other hand, is organic and not propped up by the regime. If the regime came out and tried to declare him toxic, his fans would quickly mobilize to defend him, as they did in this example. If the regime tried to cull Lizzo's support, on the other hand, her so-called fans would dip at the drop of a dime because it is no longer popular to support her. She would be forgotten, replaced by something else. Insert some joke about the fat lady singing, I'm sure. The former fans would evaporate into thin air, and the regular people who could see through the facade from the frickin' get-go would rhetorically ask why the hell was she popular in the first place, and that is the God's honest truth. And that must suck, by the way, to realize you're propped up for nothing but unhealthy, negative, divisive reasons, and then everyone is surprised to find out she's just as ugly behind the scenes as a nakedly obvious grotesqueness would suggest, and then to endure this existence only because the machine puts you on a pedestal as you live on borrowed time because no one actually likes or cares about you because you're either a political prop on the one hand or an arsehole of a human being on the other. God bless being a straight white dude. Cheers for watching, and once again, I apologize for nothing.